Turn up your volume. because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast with Tony Marinaro.
55 seconds left in the penalty, a minute and 27 seconds left in regulation time. Boston 4, Montreal 3. Lafleur coming out rather gingerly on the right side. He gives it into Lemaire, back to Lafleur.
The sickest Montreal Canadiens podcast.
You're in the spot!
Sports entertainment like no other.
Rejoint, on lui fait perdre la rondelle, une passe devant. Et c'est le dégagement, et ce sera la victoire des Canadiens. Coupe Stanley pour les Canadiens, leur 23e de l'histoire.
You found the dogs! John, you found the dogs! He found the dogs!
And all together, they worked a young team to the top. And now, a 24th Stanley Cup banner will hang from the rafters of the famous Forum in Montreal. The Canadiens win the Stanley Cup.
Brought to you by Energy Transportation Group. Driven to be different. 8.6 beer. Intense by nature. And Locage. If the last time you went to Locage was when the Habs won the Cup, it's time you went back to Locage. It's gonna be sick.
And all together, they turned a young team to the top. The Canadiens win the Stanley Cup. I got to tell you, I love that call from Bob Cole back in 1993. I'm not even sure that it's exactly like that, but I think it's something like that. I'm Marinaro on this Wednesday, October 26th, an off night for the Montreal Canadiens. It's 2 minutes past 10 o'clock Eastern. Welcome, everyone. Buonasera a tutti. Bonsoir a tous. I'm happy to see you. We are an army, and together we are going to conquer the podcast world. I actually put that out there on YouTube a couple of minutes ago. You are watching right now live on YouTube, or you're watching live on our Facebook page, or you're watching live on our Twitter handle at The Sick Podcast. So if you're watching on anything but YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel, because yesterday we were very close to 10,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel, which is kind of cool considering that we started less than 2 years ago, I think, unofficially. And so if we could hit 10,000, I think we may have hit it by now. I'm not so sure. Hold on a second. Let me check in. Let me go to it right away. It's The Sick Podcast, brought to you in part by Energy Transportation Group. Join a growing team and energize your career at Energy Transportation Group. Email sick@shipenergy.com or check out their website, www.shipenergy.com, and click on the career tab to discover your next career opportunity. And I have to tell you, they have several offices around the world, one of which is in Montreal. And I was there earlier today, and I spent about a good 80 minutes or so with Jason, and I walked around and I shake people's hands and I introduced myself, and they're happy to be part of the podcast, and I'm happy that they're part of it. And everyone had a smile on their face, so I know for certain that it's a pretty cool place to work. They're growing, they're expanding. And if I was you and I was looking for a job, and if I was driven and I wanted to be part of a great team, I would want to join the team over at Energy Transportation Group. The Montreal Canadiens made a trade earlier this morning, trading Cam Hillis, who is a former third-round pick, 66th overall, back in 2018, who's played one NHL game, who's part of the ECHL team in Three Rivers with Les Lions de Trois-Rivières. Well, he was traded earlier this morning, give or take at around 10:30 a.m., so about close to 12 hours ago, for defenseman Nicolas Beaudin, who is also a pick in the 2018 draft, but instead of being a third-round pick, he was a first-round pick. Instead of being a 66 overall, he was a 27 overall. The native from Châteauguay, Quebec, who has played 22 NHL games, 6 points, and in the past 3 seasons, he's played with Rockford Ice Hogs of the American Hockey League, which is the American Hockey League affiliate, of course, for the Chicago Blackhawks. This looks like pretty good asset management. I don't know how you can lose on a trade like this. You end up trading a player from the 2018 draft who was a third-round pick, and in return, you end up getting one who's a first-round pick. And to top it all off, the guy, like me, Marinaro, is a guy de chez nous, which I think is pretty cool, huh? Let's check in with Agnello and Sammy. Going to check in with them right away. Hey, what's going on?
What's going on, Tony?
Hey, how are you?
We're doing good, man. We're doing good.
You and I got together earlier today at La Cage de Carrie on Rue des Jockeys. We went to see our man, Emile, who's the general manager at that establishment, a great general manager. And if the last time you went to La Cage was when the Habs won the Cup, it's time you go back to La Cage because the menu will surprise you today. I taste tested the all-for-one platter, which was the Franks and the chicken wings, the potato peels, and what am I missing here? And the chicken fillets.
Yeah, the chicken fillets.
Yeah, and then I had the brie burger with mushrooms and arugula and spicy mayo. Absolutely fantastic. Anyway, we'll get to that a little bit later. My question to you, have we hit 10,000 subscribers on YouTube?
We are exactly 8 subscribers away. So hopefully by the end of the show, we should be there.
You know what? I'm pretty much going to guarantee you that by the end of the show, we're going to be there. Okay, we'll check in a little bit later on, okay? We got a busy show. I want to get to it right away. Why don't we bring in our collaborator who usually joins us on Wednesday nights? Do we have him already? We have him. Marc-André Perreault from TVA Sport. What's going on, my man?
I'm living the dream in Buffalo right now, so everything's well.
Speaking of, speaking of chicken wings, and I know I love them at
there
the
you
Cache.
go. Do you love them?
I love chicken wings. Yes. Do I look like a guy who doesn't love anything that's food related?
I didn't want to go there, but
réponds pas à ça. Je vais me fâcher. Hey, listen. All right. Okay. The Canadiens are in Buffalo when they're going to visit the Buffalo Sabres tomorrow night. They're going to visit St. Louis on Saturday. They'll visit Minnesota on Tuesday, and they'll visit Winnipeg next week on Thursday. So the next 4 games are on the road. They'll finish off the month of October with 2 on the road, and to start off the month of November with 2 on the road. Before we get to anything, why don't we get to the news of the day? The Montreal Canadiens acquired Nicolas Beaudin. Your thoughts in return for Cam Hillis?
Well, I mean, you can't miss, right? As you said, he's a first rounder. I mean, the guy played in the NHL few games. The other one played only 1 game. Cam Hillis was just lost in the dans la hiérarchie de l'équipe. So, I mean, it's a sure shot. And I don't know if you remember, I think it was the last time Montreal traded with Chicago, or, I mean, one of the famous trade of Marc Bergevin was obviously Philippe Danault. So who knows? Is there another Philippe Danault in Beaudin?
Yeah.
You never know.
Hey,
so,
do you have your cell phone on like a mini tripod or something?
Yeah.
I see the reflection in the back. Look at that. What is that behind you exactly? What is that?
It's just a hotel room.
Hotel room. Okay. All right. So you're alone in the hotel room. You and your phone.
Confirmed.
Yeah. I'm very thankful that you stuck around tonight to talk to me instead of going out of the town in Buffalo.
It was a tough choice, but yeah.
What's the happening avenue there, or street? What is it, Chippewa or something?
Chippewa. But I can't say it's my favorite. I mean,
yeah.
Let's say if I think it's in January, I'm in Nashville.
Yes.
It might be a little more of a pain in the butt to talk to you on a Wednesday if I'm in Nashville. But for now, I'm so happy.
Nashville, New York City, and Vegas, pretty exciting based on what I hear, albeit out of the 3. The only place I ever visited was New York City. I've never been to Nashville, and I've never been to Vegas.
You've never been to Nashville?
No, I've never been to Nashville, no. I know Agnello and Sammy have because they're big Tennessee Titans fans. And as a matter of fact, they not only went to a Titans game, they were able to get down to field level. These guys can pull some strings, let me tell you.
It's the best place. I mean, to go with the guys or whatever your friends, you go to the hockey game, you go on, now I should remember the name of that street, or maybe I should not remember the name of the street.
Okay.
And on Sunday, you go at the football game.
There's all the bars and there's country music playing everywhere. And
there you go.
Bars. Is that right? Is that
what the vibe is awesome. So if you want to plan anything with your friends, it's Nashville.
If anyone following along right now on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter knows the name of the street, I've never been to Nashville. So if you want to actually message it, I'm going to read it out. Oh, it's called Broadway, I've been told by Sammy.
Is it?
Yeah.
Maybe I had a drink. Maybe I don't know. Probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Anyway. Hey, listen.
Yes, it is.
More on Nicolas Beaudin, pardon me. Dominique Ducharme, who was Nicolas Beaudin, playing for les Voltigeurs de Drummondville for 4 seasons.
Yeah.
And Dominique Ducharme, former Montreal Canadiens coach, was his coach in year 2 and year 3 with les Voltigeurs de Drummondville. Dominique Ducharme, of course, as you know, is a collaborator at BPM Sports with Martin Lemay on the afternoon show. This is what he had to say. It's en français, it's in French, but I will translate for the benefit of those who don't understand. They call it la langue de Molière. C'est ça? La langue de Molière? All right, okay. Let's hear from Dominique Ducharme on Nicolas Beaudin.
Longue vision, c'est un gars qui voit bien la glace. Hein. C'est quelqu'un qui peut relancer l'offensive rapidement en transition, qui peut bien sortir la rondelle, des bonnes passes, une bonne vision. C'est pas un gars qui va te tenir au bout du siège, tu sais, qui va prendre la rondelle d'un bout à l'autre de la patinoire, mais c'est un gars qui est efficace, est capable de bien défendre. C'est pas le gars le plus lourd, donc mais il est assez intelligent de la façon qu'il utilise son bâton, son positionnement de son corps et compagnie. Donc, il a fait quand même beaucoup de progrès là-dedans. Puis la transaction que le Canadien a faite, le Canadien ne peut pas perdre, dans le sens que c'est un beau pari pour eux. Peu importe ce qui arrive avec Nick. Le Canadien perd pas. Je pense qu'il est je pense qu'à un moment donné, il va avoir sa chance avec le Canadien à Montréal, mais dans l'organisation, je pense que c'est certainement une belle acquisition pour eux. Puis, je souhaite, je crois que autant Nick, personnellement, avait peut-être besoin d'un changement. Il avait besoin de partir de Chicago. Et puis, je pense du côté des Hawks, on avait compris ça aussi. Donc, c'est un peu de leur côté, là, ils voulaient passer à d'autres choses. Puis, je pense que pour lui, de se retrouver avec une jeune équipe, surtout une jeune brigade défensive qui se retrouve en compétition. Maintenant, il a la balle dans ses mains. C'est à lui à faire sa place.
All right, let's see if I can translate some of this. And if I miss out on anything, Marc-André, you do the honors. Once again, that's former Montreal Canadiens coach Dominique Ducharme, who is a collaborator on Martin Lemay's show on BPM Sport weekdays at 3 p.m. All right, okay. He said, defensively speaking, he's not the heaviest guy out there and not the most physical, but he has a real good active stick and he can break up a lot of plays. From an offensive standpoint, he's not a highlight reel defenseman. He's not going to go end to end, but he's got a very, very good first pass and he's real good in transition to be able to get the puck up from to the forwards and go from defense to offense. He also said, I don't see how the Montreal Canadiens can lose in this trade. Nick was kind of lost in the shuffle in Chicago. He needed a brand new, fresh start to his career. He believes that the Chicago Blackhawks were aware of that as well. So he makes his way to the Montreal Canadiens. He joins what is a relatively young defense corps. It doesn't mean that he'll start here in Montreal, but of course he'd be in competition with them. And now he's got his own destiny in his hands, and we'll see what he can do. And I don't know if I missed out on anything. I'm sure I did. Is there anything you want to add?
No, I mean, it's perfect, but let's just be careful with, what we're expecting. If he cannot crack the Chicago Blackhawks lineup, let's hope it's just a change of air that is going to help him. But, don't think they acquired the first pairing of D with Beaudin. But yeah, you can't lose, and that's the most important thing right now.
All right, okay. The bunch of text messages coming in, by the way. Either
it is Broadway
or Lower Broadway, but anyway, okay, it's Broadway. You got it. All right.
It is.
Okay, so I think that's a pretty accurate way of looking at it, right? If he can't crack the Chicago Blackhawks lineup, there's obviously some warts in his game. And, if he can't crack not only that lineup, but with Luke Richardson as the head coach, who's someone who can help out a young D. Yeah. But you know what? If you're going to have depth in the organization, you just traded away a guy who was playing in the East Coast Hockey League, and in return, you got a guy playing in the American Hockey League. So I like Dominique Ducharme's way of looking at saying you can't lose in this deal. All right.
Yeah.
You are a collaborator on GC at TVA Sport.
Yeah.
And by now that Jean-Charles Lajoie, who I'm a collaborator on his radio show at BPM Sports and on his TV show at TVA Sport, is not the president of the Kirby Dach fan club. All right. I don't know if you figured that out by now, but I don't think he is. Let's see if we have the exact quote, because he and I went back and forth tonight. Je n'ai pas encore la preuve que c'est un centre depuis qu'il joue dans la Ligue nationale. Il est mêlé comme un jeu de cartes. Il a l'air d'un chevreuil. Tassez-moi ça à l'aile, puis ça presse. There's Jean-Charles Lajoie, who says, I'm not convinced. Can we bring it back up, please? Because, my memory's not that good. Okay. I'm not convinced that he's a centerman since he's been playing in the National Hockey League. He's confused like a deck of cards, and I don't know the translation, but anyway, he looks like a deer in headlights, and put this guy on the wing and put him fast, because Jean-Charles' reasoning is Kirby Dach right now doesn't think the game like a centerman, and he doesn't play the game like a centerman. So let's make the game easier for him. Let's put him on the wing until he figures that out, or it'll be easier to figure it out. And once he becomes more comfortable, then at that point, we can put him back at center. I have a different opinion. My opinion is, if this guy played center all his life and the Canadiens acquired him and signed him to a 4-year deal because they see him potentially as a centerman, whether it be second line or third line. Obviously, they're hoping it'll be second. And if it's third, it is what it is. But I mean, they're crossing their fingers that it'll be second line. And you know what? In a beautiful world, maybe one day he could become the first line centerman. But let's walk before we run here. The Canadiens, in my opinion, they have nothing to lose this year. They're a rebuilding team. There's no pressure. And I believe they have time to leave him at center. If they can give him a couple of stable wingers for an extended period of time, all the better. This is my opinion. That was Jean-Charles' opinion. What's your opinion?
Same as you, my friend. Kent Hughes has been very clear. Same thing with Marty St. Louis. It's a year of development. Okay? And we're only at game 7 here. Can you imagine if in the year that you have to develop your kids, you're panicking after 7 games, and you're going to tell the guy who is maybe your second center in the next few years, after 7 games, you're like, hey, big guy, you're going on the wing.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. And Martin St. Louis,
pulling the plug on you. I'm throwing in if you want to kill his confidence, that's the way to do it.
Exactly. I mean, his face-off percentage is very bad. He's at 33%, not even. It is not good. He has to learn a lot, but you're gonna gain confidence by winning some face-off, obviously. And Martin St. Louis has been clear as well. Winning games is important, but let's not lose the main focus of this season. So, for me, it would be a big mistake. And Jean-Charles obviously knows his hockey very well, but sometimes he's emotional, like you sometimes, I guess.
No. You know what? Hold on a second. I don't even think it's a question of emotional. It's his opinion. I mean, the beauty of sports is that, everyone looks at it in different situations, different teams, different players, a different way. I don't think he's saying what he said because he's emotional. I don't want to speak for him, but knowing Jean-Charles, I think he's saying what he said because he believes what he said. He doesn't think Kirby Dach is a centerman, like he didn't think that Galchenyuk was one probably, and he would have been right. And like Marc Bergevin and Michel Therrien didn't think Galchenyuk was a centerman either. And in the end, they were right as well. And
he might be right. He might be right.
But
it's not the time after 7 games.
I don't think so.
To pull the plug. That's
in a rebuild year. It's because he hasn't accepted that it's a rebuild yet. Do you understand?
Exactly. And good for him. And how much I respect him, and his opinion is very important. But that for me, after 7 games, it's too early. So for me, it's pretty clear that you have to stick with it for a few games. If if you know, like, I mean, we tried with Drouin. You remember when Bergevin
course.
acquired him? They
Yes.
tried it at center. It didn't work.
No.
But they tried. They did
But
the same with Galchenyuk.
there's a difference, though. I mean, Kirby Dach has played a lot more games at center between junior and the National Hockey League than Jonathan Drouin did. Also,
But that was the plan.
Here's a guy with a lot more size. And so the prospect of, 6'3", 6'4", right-handed shot centerman is a lot more exciting for some than a 5'10" winger.
Of course.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that they tried, but they did try for a while, not only 7 games of a rebuild season.
You know what it's time for at practice, eh? You know what it's time for. Think about it, okay? They need to call on someone at practice to work with some young players or some players, especially Doc. You're a bright guy. Who am I talking about?
Well, I don't know why I only have Nate the Great, who was there for the end of his career. Nate Thompson was very good with the kids.
No, I'm talking about someone to do overtime with these players on the ice to show them a few tricks and show them the way. He's a former player. He's in the Canadiens organization right now.
Alex Burrows?
Vincent Lecavalier.
Oh, obviously.
Vincent Lecavalier.
Yeah, I don't think about him, but yeah.
Vincent Lecavalier is a special advisor to Kent Hughes. In St. Louis and in San Jose over the last decade or so, Larry Robinson would fly in once a month and spend about 4 or 5 days on the ice with the young defensemen of the Blues and the San Jose Sharks prior to that. Vincent Lecavalier is going to be helping out as a once again a special advisor to Kent Hughes.
Yeah.
Get Vincent Lecavalier on the ice every now and then. Hey, who better to teach a 6'4" centerman how to take draws and how to use his body than a former 6'4" centerman? Who better to teach a former first-round pick 3rd overall in the draft than a former first-round pick 1st overall in the draft? No?
It's so obvious that I didn't think about it.
But it's pas juste une belle face, là. I'm not just another pretty face, you know. I know what I'm talking about.
You know your strength, that's for sure.
Thank
but
you.
no,
Thank
I mean, it's obvious, but I feel that this is missing. I mean, David Savard is the go-to guy for the young players at defense. I was talking about Nate Thompson. I feel it would help a guy like that in the organization, but obviously Vinny Lecavalier would be a sure shot as well, would be even better.
Listen, right now I can tell you what's going on the message line. And by the way, we told you we were 8 subscribers short of 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. So for everyone who's watching right now on Facebook and Twitter, pardon me, if you are not a subscriber to our YouTube channel, please go to the Sick Podcast and subscribe, because we'd love to hit 10,000 subscribers tonight. I think we deserve it, and I think all of you deserve it, because together we are an army. A lot of people watching right now, and we're live on all these social media channels. I've thrown out the name Guy Carbonneau, Yannick Perreault. I'll throw out another one, another former Montreal Canadian, much less profile name than Guy Carbonneau, and less profile name than Yannick Perreault, who was also very good at faceoffs. He's also a gars de chez nous. And his first name is like yours, Marc. Now you know who I'm talking about? I know I'm putting you on the spot tonight.
You are.
A former Montreal Canadian who was very good at faceoffs, whose first name was Marc.
Marc with a C or Marc with a K?
With a C.
With a C.
C'est un gars de chez nous, là.
Pas Marc Savard. He didn't play for Montreal.
Et moi, c'est tout, moi.
Huh?
No. I'm just saying something in Italian. Moi, c'est tout. Sérieux, toi? Come on, you know this.
Again, man, I don't know if it's Buffalo, the era of Buffalo, but I'm...
Marc Bureau.
Marc Bureau, yeah.
Marc Bureau was good at faceoffs. So look, there's a lot of guys that used to play for the Canadiens that could definitely help out on the, hop on the ice and help out with faceoffs, right? Marc Bureau was one of them, and Yannick Perreault is another, and Guy Carbonneau. But I brought up Vincent Lecavalier because he is working with the Canadiens right now, and they are not. So I don't know, how open the Canadiens are to having people not working for them just jump on the ice and teach the guys how to take faceoffs. But
is Vincent willing to come? Quite often, because we don't see him a lot with the team. So maybe I think he doesn't want to spend too much time in Montreal right now. That's because he has kids, obviously.
Yeah.
But I mean that would be just logical, right?
Yeah. Well, if it's easier for him to join them on the road, they're going to be in Buffalo. They're going to be in St. Louis. They're going to be in Minnesota. Sif is Absa.
It is.
Yeah. Other than that, hold on a second. Let me take a look at the Canadian schedule, and I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna go from podcaster to become a travel agent now. Okay, I'm gonna take a look at the flights here, and I'm gonna.
They're gonna spend 4 days in St. Louis. By the way, 4 days in St. Louis.
Oh, 4 days in St. Louis, really? Okay.
Day off on Sunday in St. Louis. Practice Monday, St. Louis, before flying to Minnesota.
All right. Okay.
Which is pretty weird. But
so now listen to this. Yeah. During the holidays. Okay, so now we're going to have to wait another couple of months here, or a month and a half. But during the holidays, the Canadiens are going to be in Arizona on the 19th of December, Colorado on the 21st, Dallas on the 23rd. Then they got 4 days holiday, probably 3 days off. And then they're on the 28th, they're in Tampa. The 29th, they're in Florida. The 30th is a travel day, and the 31st is in Washington. For at least 3 days, 27, 28, 29, Vinny Lecavalier could be with the team.
Same kind of trip in March.
But two of them are game day, though. So,
it's going to take more time than 2 or 3 practices for Kirby Dach. But we'll see. But I'll pass the message.
Thank you very much. But if you cross paths with Marty St. Louis,
but you know what, it would be
tell
a great
him I spoke
question.
with Tony Marinaro.
I'll ask tomorrow, probably, because it's a great question. I mean, is it a possibility? So
wow, fantastic!
I'll get back to you on that.
Thank you very much. If the coach gives a fantastic answer and thinks it's an amazing question, you can end up putting it on social media that it was me that suggested it. If the coach laughs at it and thinks it's a ridiculous proposition, then you take credit for it, okay?
I'll own it.
Hey, listen, I'm probably going to ask you this question. I don't know how many times this year, but it's the Canadiens kind of have 3 hot potatoes on their hands right now. Maybe the term is strong, but I just used it anyway, and this is live, and I can't take it back. Trois patates chaudes, some more than others. Hoffman, Dadonov, Drouin. All 3 contracts are up at the end of the year, and all of them have not contributed from an offensive standpoint as much as we would hope, or as much as Kent Hughes and Jeff Gordon would hope, because the more they contribute offensively, the higher their value gets, and you can find a taker at trade deadline if their time is up in Montreal. So some are saying scratch Hoffman next game. Some are saying scratch Dadonov next game. Some are saying scratch Drouin next game. But we know that scratching them is not going to help their value at all. But some will say, even if they play, that's not going to help their value either. So is there a solution, in your opinion? What would you do?
Well, it's so funny when we say about their value. I mean, there's 32 GMs in the league that knows exactly what Mike Hoffman can bring to a team. Same thing with Drouin, Dadonov. Maybe there was more question marks, but I mean, I'll start with that. Drouin is not playing bad with Dach and Anderson right now. I mean, they are doing okay.
He's not.
So
he's the type of player that he has to get on the score sheet, if not a goal, but an assist to really help, right?
Let's lower our expectations with him. I mean, we know since the last years what he can give if he's healthy. So let's cross our fingers and let's hope.
But when you trade Sergachev, you don't want to lower your expectations for the guy that you got.
I get it. Some trade you win, some trade you lose. He lost this one big time, but remember at the time we all thought it was a pretty good idea. But that being said, Montreal is stuck with him, and I'm not being, I don't want to throw him under the bus, but they are, they have to deal with him. So, Hoffman, I don't know. Man, he is. I mean, first of all, if you put Hoffman on the fourth line, you better scratch him. I mean, there's no point of having Hoffman on the fourth line.
Yes, but some will argue that if he's on the fourth line, he ends up playing against another fourth line and a third pairing of defense. It's a better matchup for him, and he should score in that situation because he's probably going to be a better hockey player than anyone else on the ice.
He should, but he's not.
I know.
So, and Dadonov, I'm pretty surprised. He is slow, that's for sure. He was playing good on the PK, but I just last game, Wideman, I think, was coming out of the penalty box, and he was wide open for a breakaway, and Dadonov never saw him, and he should have. I don't know if there's something missing, but I mean, you can't scratch.
He definitely should have seen him because, he is a wide man.
I didn't want to make the joke because I thought it was
wide man,
so bad.
Wide open. Yeah, I thought it was good.
Yeah. I thought it was bad, so I didn't say it, but you did, so it's on you. But to answer your question, for me, right now, the biggest problem is Hoffman on the fourth line. Nothing against him personally, but he's a goal scorer, and he's on the fourth line. You're gonna say, okay, he's got a good matchup, and he's having power play minutes, but guess what? Power play is not working. Power play is awful.
If he would bring it, which he never has since he got here, not on a consistent basis anyway, he should be the ideal candidate to be on that first line, especially games at home that are probably less physical, more wide open, more trading chances. Nick Suzuki could have two wingers who shoot the puck better than anybody else on the team at the forward position.
But
there's a problem. There's a problem with Mike Hoffman, and it's
he doesn't want to get hit, and you can tell just by watching a player for one shift or two. Some players don't want to get hit, don't want to get hurt, don't want to feel pain, and you can't teach that. And Mike Hoffman doesn't have it. He's a sniper. I mean, he is a sniper. He has big qualities, but this is not one of them. Today I spoke with GC, obviously, about the power play. Okay. Since Marty this year, 31st, 4.8, it's awful. Since Marty St. Louis came in, 12.4%, 31st. Since Burroughs, 14.8, 32nd, dead last. 4 last season, dead last. 10 last season, 30th. It's a big problem.
It's a big, it's funny you say this because I spoke to JC this morning on his radio show, Premier Compteur at BPM Sport, 91.9 FM on your Montreal dial, La Radio des Sports au Québec, Quebec's #1 all sports radio station, especially in the last 6 months. Now, I thought you were going to laugh, especially last 6 months. I thought you were going to laugh.
Since you're there.
Okay.
I
must have been a coincidence.
I was concentrated about my
it's funny. It's funny you say this because I brought it up to JC as well. I said, JC, I know you like Alex, and I know he's been on your show, but the power play since Alex Burrows has been here, the statistics are very, very bad. But JC answered right away, and he said, well, it's a committee thing. And I said, JC, you can't be like that. Okay. You can't if the power play is going good, it's him. If the power play is going no good, it's a committee thing. When Kirk Muller's power play in Montreal went through bad moments and it suffered, nobody said it's a committee thing. Everyone said it was Kirk. Now it's Alex Burrows' power play. And look, ultimately, there's no doubt about it that the ultimate responsibility falls on Marty St. Louis, because the coach ultimately is responsible for everything and even the assignments that belong to those under him. Ultimately, he's the guy in charge. But if I'm Burrows, I'm not going to say he's going to feel the pressure, because once again, I don't think the organization expects to make the playoffs this year. But if your power play is working, yes, it could win you some games, but it can also increase the confidence of everyone and increase the value of everyone. Because if some of these players that you're going to trade are now going to score on the power play, they're going to gain value. You're going to get more for them. So if I'm Burrows, it's starting to get a little tight around the collar. Don't you think?
Well, I obviously he doesn't like it. I was telling Burrows, just to give an idea of the, in the timeline for the people. I was not pointing him out, but obviously he wants better, but he knows a thing or two about power play. Remember with the Sedin, he was terrific, but it's been a problem for so many years. I remember Claude Julien, if it was not training camp, it was like the first game of the season.
Mm-hmm.
First practice, listen to that. First practice, the drill was getting in the zone. 5 guys on the power play getting on the zone without the PK on the ice. That was the only drill. I mean, if this is not starting from scratch, what is it? So, and St. Louis was very clear about the good strategy of a power play. It's 2 or 3 passes, bang, a shot. Maybe it's not going to score, but maybe you're going to hit the ankle of the PK guy who will not be able to stand up, and it's going to give you a chance. Maybe it's going to hit the stick. It's going to break a stick, or whatever. It's going to create chaos, and that's what you want. And then you can take the puck back, and then 2 or 3 passes, bang. It's simple, but we don't see it. The good thing, let's go with a positive thing. Now they are able to get in the zone.
Yeah, the entries of the entries. Step number 1 to actually, we will say that step number 1 is probably puck possession, right? Making sure you have the puck. Step number 2 is gaining entry into the offensive zone. Step number 3 is setting up. Step number 4 is getting into position. And one of the things we've seen that works really well is a power play that doesn't have, that is not stagnant, right? That you are not only moving the puck, but you are also moving your feet. The Tampa Bay Lightning have been absolutely amazing at that for the longest time. And for those wanting to know where the Montreal Canadiens power play is right now, statistically speaking, it is 31st out of 32 teams in the National Hockey League at 4.8%.
And a little detail, that power play goal against Pittsburgh, it was 4-on-3. It was not 5-on-4. So there is no goal at 5-on-4 since the beginning of the season. But you need
Kirk Muller's power play, 5th in the National Hockey League at 30.4.
Yeah.
5th, 30.4. That's 26% difference.
It's pretty good, but you need good horses. I mean, take a look at the second power play unit. I mean, Gallagher, Dvorak, Hoffman. I mean, we all love Brendan Gallagher. He's a hard worker, but I'm not sure he should be on the power play right now. But it's a candy. I don't know. But yeah, you need the horses, but you need to find a solution. And I mean, this year, let's be patient. And I told you, and I'm telling everybody, it was a great night against Toronto. It was a great night against Arizona. But take these games, these moments, and I mean, cherish them. Like you say that,
yeah,
and
cherish
then
them, yes.
Cherish them, because it's not gonna be like that. The games like against Minnesota, it's gonna happen often this season, and it is normal and it's fine. You don't want to lose in sight that it's a rebuild. You don't want to be like Chicago and keep on winning right now. That's not the plan.
I hear you, buddy. I hear you. Listen, this has been a lot of fun. When we talk again next week on Wednesday, the Canadiens will have played 3 of 4 games on the road. They'll have played tomorrow night in Buffalo, Saturday night in St. Louis, and Tuesday night in Minnesota. What will be their record after those 3 games?
If they can win one, that would be awesome. But yeah. I mean, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough road trip because, when you don't have the last change, Buffalo they're doing pretty well. I mean, finally, they didn't make the playoff in the last 11 seasons. It's going to be tough. Dallin is having like 9 points in 6 games. So and keep talking. And I'm wondering if Brendan Gallagher couldn't be on the PK more minutes. I think he would be such a good fit for that. I don't know.
You know what? I like Gallagher better on the PK than I like him on the power play.
I love him. Let's
not forget him, Danault, and Thomas Tatar were one of the best 200-foot lines in the National Hockey League for 3 years in a row. Of course, he was absolutely unbelievable. Hey, listen, in ending, I want to tell you this. You know what the beauty of me doing French radio and French television is that a lot of people are discovering me for the first time that maybe knew my name, but didn't know more than that about me. The beauty of you being on the Sick Podcast is that a lot of people are discovering you for the first time that knew your name, but didn't see you actually work in English. You're a phenomenal talent. And I've told you this before. I'm so happy that you're a part of the Sick Podcast. Thank you again and have a great night.
My friend.
All right.
It's an honor. Thank you.
Thank you. The honor is all mine. We'll talk to you soon. All right. Marinaro, the Sick Podcast, brought to you in part by 8.6 Beer. Intense like me by nature. The beer for those who follow their instinct and live their passions in order to make their mark. All right. Okay. So this is a feature that I wanted to have on the show because there's something going on. There's an industry right now that is thriving that I used to collect hockey cards a long time ago when I was like 10, 11, 12, 13 years old. And I used to love collecting those OPG cards. And they used to have that gum, that stick gum. You remember that pink stick gum that used to come with it? And I used to have a lot of powder on it or sugar on it, whatever, icing sugar, whatever it was. I used to love that gum. I used to love those cards. And every now and then I used to see, get the beautiful cards with the masks or the Gila Fleur cards. And I used to keep my cards in shoe boxes. Well, unfortunately for me, my mother threw all those cards away. But for those who are lucky and their cards were never thrown away, some of you have cards right now that are worth a lot of money. Most of you probably know by now. And for those who don't, well, you're probably going to find out tonight how much money your cards are worth. Chris Latornade coming up.
Sick Sports Cards. Presented by Sports La Tornade.
All right, there you have it. Sick Sports Cards is presented by Sport La Tornade. Sports cards, collectibles, and more. Visit the store at 1 Avenue de la Fabrique in Vaudreuil-Dorion. Chris, welcome to the Sick Podcast, buddy.
Thank you, Tony.
You're very welcome. You're at your store right now, which is in Vaudreuil-Dorion. I want to introduce you to everyone who's watching right now on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, and they'll be listening tomorrow to the show on Google, Apple, and Spotify and all that stuff. Who is Chris Latornade? When did you open up your store, and when did your passion for sports cards begin?
So a lot like, just like a lot of kids, when I was 5 years old, I would go. I started playing hockey, and I would get my pack of cards after the games. My parents would buy me a pack of cards. I'd collect. I'd put them in shoe boxes, like you said. And fortunate enough for me, they weren't thrown out, and I was able to keep them. So after high school, I was 18 years old, and I joined the military. So I was in the Army for 14 years, and I still collected, and I still had that passion.
Well, welcome to the Sick Podcast, Army, because those who follow along with us, we're an army. So welcome to our army, buddy.
Thank you. So, after that, once I found my way and after a tour of duty, and I said, like, I want to do something more hobby-like, more passion. And my passion for sports cards just grow stronger and stronger and stronger. And after the early 2000s, when the cards really exploded again, because in the 90s, wasn't so good, but in the early 2000s, it really exploded again. And I really got into it, and they changed the look of the cards. They changed a lot of things about the cards. And it grew enough that I was able to open my own store about 2 years ago, and it's been going strong. It's very.
So let me ask you this industry that is player cards and sports cards, how long is this going to be able to continue? Because if cards are very, very valuable right now, like, will they always continue to be valuable? Like, because if they're very valuable, well, then everyone's going to get into it and everyone's going to collect sports cards. Like, this is something that obviously can last.
Absolutely. So that's a good question, actually, is that in the early 2000s, they started making cards that are more, before we used to have a normal card, and they used to print a lot. So now if I take, for example, I'm going to show you a card here. This is a Cole Caulfield card. Okay. This is big right now in Montreal.
Who makes that card? Because there's different companies that make them, right?
So that's Upper Deck. That's produced from Upper Deck. Yeah. So that's from a line called Black Diamond. It's if you have a look again, it's got 4. It's called a quad diamond, and I don't know if you can see in the picture there, but that card is numbered to 15. So what happens now that never happened before?
Pardon me if you don't. You're talking to someone completely ignorant in this business. Okay. Can you bring back up the card? Where is it numbered 15? Where would I see that?
So right under here, like right above my finger.
I got it. Okay. Perfect. And let me ask you this, Chris, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Is Upper Deck like the, the number one in terms of hockey cards, or there is no number one?
No, they're the number one. So they have the license. They have the license with the NHL. So they're exclusive. There is other companies that do make cards, but there's different agreements that the other ones have where they can't put a logo on the jersey or stuff like that. And it works like that in baseball and basketball and stuff like that too, when it comes to Panini or Topps, who's also producers in the game. So
did you say that Cole Caulfield card that you just showed me, that's a rookie card? It's like a 4 diamond. You said, are there only 15 of those in the world? Is that it?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And you got one of them?
Yes, that's it. Yeah. So
what does that sell for? What is it worth?
So a lot of people use comparisons and look things up on eBay and use a comparison of how much the last ones are sold for. Yeah. Now a card like that's on 15, there won't be a lot of comparisons and you won't find many. So I can look at other players. You can judge, like in the same year as Cole Caulfield, you have Trevor Zegras. You can compare other players and other cards. So if you like, my asking price on that card would be about $3,000. Does it mean I get $3,000? I don't know. I'm going to a show this weekend. Good chance I will. But on the regular basis at my store, somebody might make me an offer, something close to it.
Yeah, that show that you're going to this weekend, I believe it's at the Sport Expo in Laval in Fabreville, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. All right. That's pretty good. How much? So there's going to be there's going to be a bunch of tables lined up with people like yourself there, and they're going to be selling their cards, and there's going to be a bunch of former athletes and stuff like that are actually going to be on hand, and they're going to be signing. Is that it?
That's right. That's right.
What's the entrance fee?
I think the entrance fee is $5 at the door. You can purchase online. You can purchase online at the Anti-Expo Facebook page and stuff. You can follow their links and purchase before you get there, which I suggest because you will help yourself as far as lineups go. But there will be like over 100 kiosks there. So
if I would have bought Upper Deck cards, there's a chance that in my deck, there's only 15 in the world, but there's a chance that I could have got in my pack this Caulfield card.
Yeah, this is it. Yeah.
And so what do cards sell for nowadays? Like if I were to buy a deck, I don't even know this. I'm dumb. Would people buy a deck when it comes to this stuff? That is, would people buy a deck of cards, or do you buy a box now? How does this work?
So people tend to buy the boxes. Now there's boxes for everyone's budget. You can buy a $30 box and you can buy a $1,500 box. Yeah. So, and that goes for every sport. And I say 1,500 is probably about your top hockey box in the last 2 years. If you want to go back to 2015-16, where you can find big McDavid cards, then you're looking at even more for a box. But if you want to buy a product that's coming out this year, you go with your budget and you buy a box, and you can potentially.
What does buying a $1,500 box give me? More chance of having a card that is worth more money or will be worth more money one day because it's kind of like a limited card? Is that it? Is that the reasoning?
Yeah, I kind of refer to people, and I tell people it's kind of, if you want to look at it kind of like going to the casino, some people play the slot machines at 10 cents, and some people like throw $20 bills in the machine.
That's good.
And so with hockey boxes, you can do the same thing. If you want to go big and you want to gamble and get the big stuff, if you want to, you see these cards online sometimes that going for $50,000, $100,000. Well, they're not pulling those cards out of a $30 box. Those guys paid a lot of money for their box, and that's how they got rewarded.
So I probably put you in a difficult spot here because obviously I don't want you to say, no, don't come to my store to buy my card. But I'm going to ask you this question anyway. I'm curious to hear your answer, and I'll probably ask it about several cards. Should I come into your store and buy that card?
Yeah, absolutely. The Caulfield card right now is actually one of the hottest cards you're going to find, especially in a market like Montreal. So in card collecting, the market where you are, absolutely, it has a lot to play with the card and its price. So,
for example, Nicolas Beaudin's card yesterday was probably worth a lot less than it was at 11 o'clock this morning when he got traded to the Canadiens.
Yeah. So on a lower scale, what people tend to collect a lot is the rookie cards, and they're called Young Guns. So again, I brought up some Cole Caulfields. This is a Young Guns Cole Caulfield card. Okay. So Nicolas Beaudin, I had a bunch of them. They were actually going for. Let me see. I got a bunch here.
Really? Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to show you them.
Okay.
So these are all. Cards. These are all Nicolas Beaudin rookie cards. Okay. Okay. So I had them in a box yesterday, selling anywhere between. They're in my $2 box. If somebody offered me $1 for them, I'd probably take it. Okay. But I took them out of that $2 box today because they're going into the $8 to $10 box.
Wow. Okay.
So you can see how it plays.
Have some left?
Yeah, I do actually. Yeah.
How many did you sell today? Tell me the truth.
Probably about 10 or so. Yeah.
You sold about 10 Nicolas Beaudin cards after he was traded to the Canadiens.
Anything that was on my eBay store that had Nicolas Beaudin's name on it was going today. Yeah.
What's the most expensive? How many cards do you have in your store? And by the way, you have your phone set up. Is there any way I could see your store at all, or?
You could actually. I could a little bit. Let's see if I can turn my. So my store here.
Oh, you see now we're talking. Yeah, now we're talking. You see the World Cup stickers there? That's very popular
Qatar?
Right now. Yeah, wow.
That's Qatar World Cup.
Are those made by, a little bit? Are those made by Panini?
Yes, they are. Yeah.
You know what I used to love, or my kids used to love, probably about 10 years ago, is those Panini sticker books. Do you sell those too?
Yeah, I do. I have the Panini. So this box that I showed you right here. This is right here. I can pull out. This is the.
That's the magazine. Yeah, this was amazing. My kids used to buy the magazine. All right, buy all the stickers, fill it up, and then my wife used to throw it in the garbage after. What a beautiful thing!
Oh yeah,
money in the garbage.
Yeah, this year with Team Canada in there, it's going like it's crazy how much we sell.
How many cards do you have in your store?
Oh, Tony, a lot. There's probably a good 50,000 or so cards in here. That's
you could turn it back to you now if you want.
Yeah. So that's not just that's just in the store. I
did I just see a jersey? Do you sell jerseys too, or?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We have all kinds of memorabilia, jerseys, pucks, sticks. Wow. Yeah, we have figurines.
What's the most expensive card in your store?
Right now, so everything that's expensive for me goes into a vault and at the bank, like the safety deposit box.
For sure.
So right now tonight, what I was able to pull up here is a Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah.
So see this Wayne Gretzky. If you look closely,
that's not his rookie card. I can see it's not his rookie card.
That's not his rookie card. But if you see over here, it says 1 of 1.
1 of 1. That's the only one in the world, and you have it.
That's right.
Okay, I don't even know what it is, but get ready. I'm going to throw you an amount. I don't even know what we're talking about here. I know nothing. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Wayne Gretzky, 1 of 1. I don't even know what it is. Cole Caulfield was 3,000 his rookie card.
Yes.
5 times 15,000.
I would probably sell it to you for that price. Now you're right in the ballpark.
Wow. So I mean, it's one. But what is it though? It's not a rookie card. What is it?
This one is from 2021. 2021. Yeah. So this actually comes from a box called Clear Cut. And,
so they came out with Gretzky cards even after he retired.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they still that's what they do. They still have a lot of it keeps, I don't know if it keeps the old guys coming back, but it's definitely, they want to, every now and then you'll pull a Steve Yzerman, a Mike Modano, Joe Sakic. Really? Oh yeah.
Where did you get that card?
So that card is out of a Clear Cut box. So a Clear Cut box is a set that comes out once a year. It's only 1 card per box. And it comes encased like that. So I did not put it in that case. It came like that in the case. So you, hold on a second. You didn't know you were buying this card and this card would happen to be in the box, or it's a surprise. Anytime you open a box, this Wayne Gretzky card in that box could have been Alex Regula from the Chicago Blackhawks. Rookie. It could have been a $20 card. But
so you were here in Montreal and you bought this box?
Absolutely. It was a client that opened it at our store.
Hold on a second. A client that opened it at your store. It's a client who bought it, or you bought it?
The client actually bought it, and we do trades and we buy and we sell. Like a lot of times a client that hits a big card often doesn't walk out with it.
Because you want to buy it from them.
Absolutely.
So now I'm going to ask you the same question that I asked you before. Should I buy that card? And if I had the money, should I buy that card?
My personal opinion is
You're probably always going to say yes. I don't know if I'm asking you a dumb question or not. So
no. I don't know. I think I'm more honest when it comes to that things. I would prefer, personally, and I would like to pass that on, is that you would prefer more a rookie card than to buy, unless you're a Wayne Gretzky collector already and you already have a lot of Wayne Gretzky cards, then you're definitely going to want to buy that card. But if you're a guy who's just starting and you want value, the top value for your card, you're definitely going to want to stick with the rookies. Buy a rookie card. The Caulfield is going to go up. He's scoring. He's just scoring at a pace that his card just keeps going up every time he scores.
You know what I love about you? And we've met a couple of times, not more than that, and had a couple of conversations. You have a really special quality, and that is you're someone who is in sales, but you really come across as someone really, really honest, and the client doesn't feel like he's being taken for a ride. You sell sports cards, and that one there can probably go give or take for about $15,000. And I asked you if I should buy that card, and you said that unless I have a bunch of Wayne Gretzky rookie cards and I need to add this to my collection, that I'd probably be better off buying rookie cards of any player instead of actually going after something like that. You kind of blew me away with that one. I'm not going to lie to you. I tip my hat to you, man.
Thank you. And this is something that we tell I tell my staff all the time. Anybody that walks through the door in the store here, it's nice to make a sale and all that, but what I want to sell the most is the experience. And I want to I want to sell an experience. I want someone to come in, feel comfortable. We got drinks in the fridge here. We got, come in, have a chat. Fridays, we hang out. People open boxes on the counter right in front of me. And we have a good time, just like friends.
I'm a huge Guy Lafleur fan. All right. I would imagine that when the flower passed, you probably got a lot of phone calls and a lot of people picked up his cards. I don't know how many cards you had or not. My question to you is, do you have any more left? And is there a card that you think is a really good value card that someone like me should have?
So as far as Guy Lafleur cards go, I do not have anything. I have like one small, it's sold. Anything that was Guy Lafleur was sold right away.
Wow.
But I am going to show you something that you're going to like.
Wow.
Actually, let me I'm going to unhook my phone here. I have to show you. I have to show you this because I've heard you say this before. You're a Guy Lafleur fan, and there's only one. There's only one of these. Okay.
See my Guy Lafleur chair in the background there? Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
There's only one of what you're going to show me?
Yeah. So, well, in our store here.
Okay.
We have. I'm trying to get it here.
Is that a black and white picture? Or?
No, that is Guy Lafleur. That is our fridge. Okay. There's only one of these. These was special made for me. That it's sorry, I'm moving a bit.
No. It's good. We're good.
Okay, you saw it, right?
Yeah.
I can show you on the side of it here. We have the Stanley Cups with all the dates on it. That's the side of the fridge. We have the dates. So that
was made for you.
Yeah. So what happened was
he never signed it, eh?
He never signed it because it was made after. But so and I met him a few times.
Yeah.
But so
the best. Guy Lafleur was the best. The best. Yeah.
So that people walk in and they see that Guy Lafleur fridge. It was somebody made that for me. It was special. It's an old fridge. I don't know if that fridge is from the 70s, the 80s. I'm not sure, but it was refurbished. They changed the motor on it, and they turned it into that. So
the Chicago Bears should make one for William Refrigerator Perry. It would be a very appropriate. Don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
The Sick Podcast with Tony Marinaro's Tascam equipment is supplied by Ericsson Audio, the choice of musicians, engineers, and broadcast professionals. All right. In ending, this has been so enriching, by the way. The Canadiens played the Minnesota Wild yesterday. Kirill Kaprizov had like an amazing season last year. I'm just curious, what is his rookie card worth?
Kirill Kaprizov's around $150 ungraded. I do have one graded, like a PSA 10 here. It's about $600 card when graded.
What does that mean? Graded, not graded? It goes through like an audit or like a when you're buying a diamond ring or something type of thing, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So look, if I show you this is a Patrick Waugh. You see the 8? It's graded 8.
That means it's graded an 8 on 10.
Yeah, 8 on 10.
So it's got what? It's got dents in the corners or something, or the lines are a little bit off or whatever. It's just okay.
That's an older card. It's a little bit harder to grade, so probably the edges are a little rough, maybe some corners and stuff like that. But nowadays, the new cards that are coming out, they play between an 8 and a 10. Sometimes they'll get a little ding in the corner or a rough edge or something, but it's always good to send them away and get graded just because you'll definitely up the value of your card.
Chris, once again, why don't you tell everyone where your store is in Vaudreuil-Dorion exactly?
We're right off the 20. It's 1 Avenue de la Fabrique, Vaudreuil-Dorion. We're just on the corner basically of the St. Charles and the 20. It's
Hey, thanks so much. You're going to be a regular contributor on the show. We're going to talk player cards. Have fun at the show at the Sport Expo on the weekend in Laval, in Fabreville. And what times does that go on from? If people watching right now want to drop by on the weekend, come see you, come see others that are there and stuff like that. What time?
So general admission is at 10. If you want to buy a VIP pass, you can come in at 9. But general admission will be 10 to 5.
Thanks, bud. I'll probably
All
see
right.
you this weekend.
All right. Thank you.
All right. There you have it. Chris Latournade. Wow. That's pretty amazing stuff. Marinaro, a shutout to Playground. They have over 600 machines, poker tournaments, and playground casino games, daily promotions, and unmatched customer service. Why go anywhere else? Located just over the Mercier Bridge, only minutes from downtown Montreal. Agnello and Sammy, can we take, why don't we do this? I would imagine people have sent in questions. Can we take 3 of them? We'll take 3 questions. Number 1. Hey, Tony, you think it's a good idea to trade guys like Armia, Hoffman, Drouin right away, pay half the salary for the rest of the year, and roll the kids for a top 3 in the lottery? I don't think teams would be taking them right now. Next. My question is, knowing Dach had wrist surgery, so much of an impact was it? Dach is a really good playmaker, and what a wingspan he has. I would imagine it's hindered his development a little bit, and at one point, he's probably going to be 100% comfortable and recovered, and that's when he's going to be better. But wrist surgery, it's not fun, because maybe it's part of the explanation as to why he doesn't win as many faceoffs, and maybe doesn't shoot the puck as much people would like him to. Probably still experiences a little bit of pain. Who knows? Only he knows. Last question that we'll take tonight. From Futures site, Tony, if Habs take Xhekaj out, should they put Pezzetta in the lineup for toughness? Well, then there would be a toughness downgrade, with all due respect to Pezzetta, and one's a forward and one's a defenseman. I think, they're going to think twice before taking Xhekaj out. I think they would take Weidman out before him, and I think they would take Kovacevic out before him, because especially when you have some young skilled players in the lineup, you need someone that has that element of toughness. Back to Agnello and Sammy before we break away and call it a night and come back tomorrow. Have we hit our 10,000 subscribers on YouTube?
Yes, sir. We're a few over 10,000. Awesome.
You see that? I asked and they delivered. I told you, are these people the best or what? Those who follow the Sick Podcast are the absolute best. Now, what are we doing here? We're celebrating. What are we doing? We're gonna have
I think you got to give him a dance, man.
And mostly too, man.
You have to.
A dance at 11:07 p.m. on Thanks for subscribing. Tell your friends about it. Tell them the podcast is sick. And once again, tomorrow night, same time, same place, at Marinaro. Ciao a tutti. Bye-bye. Buonanotte.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast with Tony Marinaro on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts. The Sick Podcast is brought to you by Energy Transportation Group, driven to be different, 8.6, intense by nature, and La Cage. If the last time you went to La Cage was when the Habs won the Cup, it's time you went back to La Cage. The menu will surprise you.